And like, let's be for real. You would have to be one brain dead moron to believe a random Twitter user with 3,000 followers or less over Stephen A. Smith. What up, YouTube? Today we're going to be talking about Malika Andrews apparently being dragged all over social media with her lack of coverage, or should I say lack of opinion, in regards to the Josh Giddey allegations for allegedly hooking up with a minor who was of the age 15 or 17. And these are all allegations, and social media has really been flaming Malika because there were some things that they pointed out that she's done and said in the past, like bringing up a coach's criminal history for whatever reason when he got hired at the Celtics, I believe.
And we'd be remiss not to also mention that Mazzulla was arrested twice at West Virginia, once in 2008 for underage drinking and aggravated assault. He pled guilty, paid a fine, and then again in 2009 for domestic battery after an incident at Morgantown Bar. The domestic battery case never went to trial. It was settled in August of 2009. He paid a $100 fine and court costs, plus had to do 40 hours of community service. Now, that was 13 years ago. He settled and paid both fines. So, Woj, why are the Celtics choosing him as their next head coach?
Now, even though admittedly that was a bit weird to bring up Mazzulla's criminal history and background before he was officially brought on as the, I think, interim or official head coach of the Boston Celtics, she's looking at the organization like, yo, you're going to hire him and he's done all this way worse than Ime Udoka, who just cheated on Nia Long. But y'all got to understand, you know, them things can be treated equally when it comes to organizations in the league. Organizations, if they have a public image to uphold, and of that, it kind of, you know, uplifts family and stuff like that and healthy relationships or whatever, then you don't want to keep Ime Udoka, and it could potentially harm the brand. And I get the point she was trying to make, but if the league or the Boston Celtics really gave a damn about his criminal background, they would have never even let him be a coach in the league. Now, she did say something about it on ESPN in regards to Josh Giddey.
Josh Giddey had an improper relationship with an underage girl. In a since-deleted post, an anonymous social media user claimed a girl who was seen with Giddey in videos and images, some of which include explicit captions, was a junior in high school at the time. Giddey, who's 21, he declined to comment on Friday, and despite the serious allegations, Giddey is yet to miss a game this season, and Thunder coach Mark Daigneault, he said he will continue to be in the lineup, saying, quote, "Just with the information we have at this point, that is the decision we've made. It's obviously a league matter at this point, and the ball is in their court on that." Now, a league spokesperson told me this morning that the NBA is still in the process of gathering information, and we will continue to update this story as the news develops.
Little side note for the person who recorded that clip, make sure you wipe the dust and film grain off that camera next time. But because of that clip and because of what Malika said, a lot of people are starting to drag her, be like, wait, you didn't have this energy for Brandon Miller or a whole bunch of other people. Malika Andrews and Stephen A. break their silence on Josh Giddey charges today, and you won't believe how ESPN forced them to address his allegations. They didn't keep the same energy. NBA fans are once again calling out ESPN for failing to handle Giddey Kitty charges similar to black athletes and NBA coaches' allegations on ESPN, like Ime Udoka, Joe Mazzulla, Kevin Porter Jr., Jason Kidd, Chauncey Billups, and others. The NBA and ESPN continue to sweep Josh Giddey's news under the rug, allowing him to play while being investigated. Y'all expecting Malika Andrews to keep it real about Josh Giddey is hilarious, considering she's signed to ESPN, who is signed to Disney. If you know, you know. But forget about Malika Andrews. She's not important in this scenario. The NBA is letting this guy play, and we know he's fucking 15-year-olds. The network ain't talking about it. It's not just her. And that's the issue. Take your dick out the equation. Pause. And Des Bryant did speak on this as well, saying, Malika Andrews, you went out of your way to crucify Brandon Miller on draft day over something he didn't even do. Why haven't you said nothing about Josh Giddey? I advise you to not make this a black or white thing. Your parents really raised you wrong, and just because you went to a private school don't make you better. You appeal, and I know you're kind. You just a puppet. I don't know how a former or current NBA player could sit there across from you and look at you with some kind of respect. And even though there's some good points, in regards to Brandon Miller or a bunch of others, I think that, one reason why they spoke on the whole Brandon Miller story at the time was because they had a job to do, unfortunately. Like, I hate to be the guy to say it, but if you're working at ESPN making God knows how much a year, probably making millions and millions, are you really going to object to your boss to say, yeah, I'm not going to speak on this? No, because you have a job to do. And even if they wanted to, they could go on their own platform and say what they want. But still, if you're tied to ESPN, that can still bite you in the ass and end up costing you millions. And mind you, there's a huge difference in different levels to accusations and different types of accusations. If you're being accused of beating a woman, the league and ESPN will take that more seriously than you sleeping with a minor, unfortunately. And granted, there's a lot that isn't really known about this, but everybody on social media is running saying, yo, it's true, it did happen. But I think that's the problem with the court of public opinion today. People will believe a Twitter account with 3,000 followers or less with no profile pic or random cartoon Avi and says, hey, Josh Giddey did this, y'all, and that'll happen. But if you got people that work at ESPN, people like Stephen A, who has a lot of people in the NBA on speed dial who he gets information and sources from, different reporters and journalists from many different companies and publications who he can reach out to or reaches out to him about what's going on with the Josh Giddey situation. And if Stephen A is sitting there telling y'all, look, I don't know what's going on, these are all allegations, that means that his sources ain't even told him nothing. And let's be for real. You would have to be one brain dead moron to believe a random Twitter user with 3,000 followers or less over Stephen A. Smith, a man who got connections, a man who can reach out to confirm or deny if something is true or not. Just think of it this way. That would be the equivalent of people on Twitter saying, hey, let's believe this random Twitter user who says that a head coach got fired over Adam Schefter, who is a respected NFL insider. Be fucking for real. You sit there and believe a random person on Twitter over someone who's 10 times more credible. And I don't know if I have to really spell it out for people, but Malika Andrews and Stephen A. Smith could get fired if they were to sit there and say Josh Giddey did X, Y, Z. Y'all do realize that, right? This isn't the Wild Wild West where you could just shoot from the hip, say what you want with no repercussions. They work for ESPN. So even if they wanted to say or add more, they couldn't because of their contractual obligations to ESPN. What part of that do y'all not understand? And people could say, well, they let them speak on other things. Sure. But that's an ESPN issue. Take that up with ESPN. Don't take that up with Malika Andrews and Stephen A. Go to ESPN and be like, yo, why are you letting them talk about this, but you're not letting them talk about that? Take it up with them. Take it up with their bosses. Don't take it up with them. They just work there. Now, I think if they wasn't working for ESPN, Malika and Stephen A would probably have a totally different take. Then again, it could be the same one for legal reasons, because Stephen A even said on his show he wouldn't want to sit there on his platform and say, oh, Josh Giddey did something with a minor. He wouldn't want to say that because he knows for a fact he'll get sued. And even me, I'm not going to sit there and definitively say, oh, he did sleep with the minor. These allegations are damning. And it is a bit of misinformation going around to how old this girl is. We don't know. People have said 15. I've seen people say 16 or 17. And people bringing up the stupid age consent thing, which really is a non-factor, because I don't know why any grown adult who's over the age of 21 would even want to date somebody who's 16. And please don't bring up something that was popular in the 1980s. This is 2023. And in today's world, the Papa Bear, aka the dad, is liable to shoot you in GTA, of course, if you try to encroach on his underage daughter.
I just want to talk to him.
Why do you have a shotgun?
I just want to talk to him.
Dad, this is ridiculous.
I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him.
It is not his fault.
I just want to shoot him. I just want to talk to him.
You can't shoot him.
Wait, what?
And don't even get me started on the type of men that target and prey on girls that young. They typically go after girls like that who don't have a father in their life, or furthermore, don't have that many male role models. Like not just a father, but grandfather, uncles, cousins, or brothers. If they have none of those men present, then something like that would happen. But if they did, I guarantee you it wouldn't. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments below. Till next time, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.